All right, let's talk about something that's been flying under the radar for way too long. The idea that Gino Smith is not just a serviceable quarterback, not just a bridge starter, but a legitimate top 10 quarterback in the National Football League. I know that might raise a few eyebrows, especially among Raiders fans still trying to come to terms with the trade. But stay with me here. There's more than enough evidence piling up to make the case that the Raiders might have pulled off one of the smartest quarterback moves of the offseason. First off, let's be real. Geno Smith's journey in the league hasn't been a straight line. This isn't some overnight success story where a rookie came in and lit the league on fire. Geno had to grind, take his lumps, sit behind other quarterbacks, and earn his way back into the spotlight. And what he's done over the past 2 seasons, it's not just impressive, it's borderline elite. Pro Football Focus, a platform that lives and breathes advanced metrics and film breakdowns, just dropped their annual quarterback rankings for all 32 starters heading into the 2025 NFL season. Where did Geno Smith land? Smack dab at number 10. Let that sink in. Top 10. Not borderline, not maybe if a few guys get hurt. Number 10, ahead of a bunch of names that usually dominate headlines. Now PFF didn't just throw Geno's name in there to stir the pot. They ranked him in Tier 3A, which they define as a solid starter with flashes of high-end play. And honestly, that might even be a little conservative considering what he's shown lately. According to PFF's data, Geno is graded out as the 6th best passer in the league over the last 2 seasons. It's 6th. That puts him just behind guys like Patrick Mahomes. In fact, his overall passer grade of 85.8 is just 0.2 points lower than Mahomes. That's not a fluke, folks. That's consistency, accuracy, and big-time throws when it matters. When the Raiders traded for Geno, there were plenty of skeptics. Some fans didn't like giving up a 3rd-round pick. Others were stuck on his past, as if the version of Geno Smith from 5 or 6 years ago is still the guy under center today. But the numbers don't lie. Geno's game has matured. He's protecting the football better, he's reading defenses with more confidence, and he's delivering in clutch moments. He's got a knack for those high leverage throws that change games. Of course, context matters. The offensive line situation in Vegas is expected to be a step up compared to what he had, which is huge. A cleaner pocket could mean even more efficiency. Sure, the receiving core might be a slight downgrade compared to what he had before, but sometimes scheme and trust in the system go further than flashy names. Geno's already shown he can elevate guys around him. That's what real quarterbacks do. Now, what makes all this more compelling is when you start stacking Geno against other QBs in the league. Let's look at how PFF broke down the tiers. Tier 1 is basically the Golden Boys. Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen. No surprise there. Those guys are the face of the league right now. Then comes Tier 2, and that's where you find names like Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, Matthew Stafford, and Justin Herbert. Good quarterbacks, no doubt, but I'd argue Geno's right there with them and in some aspects ahead. Think about it this way. Herbert may have the tools, the arm strength, the mechanics, all the measurables, but if you're in the 4th quarter of a tight game and need someone to make a veteran decision under pressure, I'm taking Geno. And I know some people will push back on that, but again, go watch the tape. Geno's calm, composed, and makes the right read more often than not. And then in Tier 3A, Geno's group includes guys like Jared Goff and Brock Purdy. Now that's an interesting trio. All 3 have had games where they looked unstoppable, and all 3 have had moments of doubt. But I think it's a fair comparison. Sometimes Goff is better, sometimes Geno is better. And Purdy, well, he had an incredible run, but we still need to see more. The fact that Geno's consistently in this conversation, though, is the key. He's not a one-hit wonder. He's not just riding the wave of one good season. He's stacking quality performances year over year. Further down the list, we see quarterbacks that Geno was ranked ahead of, and this is where things start getting real spicy. According to PFF, he's better right now than Jordan Love, Baker Mayfield, CJ Stroud, Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence, Dak Prescott, and Tua Tagovailoa. That's a serious list. And honestly, I agree with most of it. Trevor Lawrence has the hype, but the results haven't matched it yet. Prescott's had years to prove himself and still hasn't gotten over the hump. Tua's got a nice system and weapons, but does he elevate the offense or just execute what's given to him? Geno, on the other hand, is proving that he can lead an offense, adjust, and win games. There's even more proof when you start looking at the quarterback rankings by division. In the AFC West, Gino is now ranked as the third best quarterback. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is number one. No one's arguing that. You don't win multiple MVPs and Super Bowls without being the top dog. Then you have Justin Herbert, who again is a good quarterback, but he hasn't taken that next step in the postseason. And then there's Gino, third best in the division, with some serious QB talent. And that's exactly why this matters. People are sleeping on the Raiders this season, in large part because they're not giving Gino the respect he's earned. Odds makers have Vegas projected at 6.5 wins this season, which feels low when you consider how many matchups they'll go into with the better quarterback. Based on the PFF rankings, in 11 out of 17 games this year, the Raiders will have the quarterback advantage. That's 65% of the schedule where Vegas lines up under center with the upper hand. And let me just throw this in here. For all the fans who wanted someone like Sam Darnold instead of Gino, ask yourself this. Would you really feel more confident heading into a season with Darnold than with Gino? Because PFF has Darnold all the way down at number 26. They've got him grouped with guys like Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. That's not exactly encouraging. Meanwhile, Gino is holding steady in the top 10 on one of the best value contracts for any starting quarterback in the league. Even when we look at the Raiders' schedule and matchups across the season, the quarterback story becomes even more compelling. Week 1, they face New England, and Gino is ranked significantly higher than Drake May. Week 4, huge advantage over the opposing QB. Week 6, another edge for Vegas. Even in those tight matchups, Chargers, Cowboys, Browns, you can argue that Gino gives the Raiders a legit shot to win based on the quarterback battle alone. This all circles back to one simple truth. Gino Smith is not a placeholder. He's not someone you start while waiting for the next guy to take over. He's a real quarterback with real production and very real upside. If you've actually been paying attention, not just looking at past narratives or lazy headlines, then you know the Raiders might have just found themselves a legitimate leader under center. And that, more than anything, could be what shifts the balance this season. So now that we've laid the foundation and made the case that Gino Smith is being overlooked and underrated, let's push this even further. Because this conversation isn't just about where Gino ranks on a list, it's about what that means for the Raiders in 2025. It's about how having a legitimate top 10 quarterback changes the ceiling for a team that's been stuck in mediocrity for far too long. It's about flipping the narrative. The truth is, quarterback play is the single most important factor in the NFL when it comes to winning games. We've seen teams with average defenses and mediocre run games go deep into the playoffs simply because they had a great QB. On the flip side, we've seen teams loaded with talent crumble because their quarterback couldn't elevate them. And this is where Gino becomes a game changer for the Raiders. He's not just good enough, he's the kind of player who gives you a shot in every game. And if you've been watching the Raiders the last few years, you know how rare that's been. Look back at last season. The Raiders were competitive, but they didn't have that spark under center. There were moments where you felt like the game was slipping away and nobody could stop the bleeding. That changes with Gino. He brings composure, he brings experience, but most importantly, he brings belief. Not just to the fans, but to the locker room. Teammates rally around the quarterback they trust. Coaches call games differently when they know their quarterback can make every throw. The offense takes more chances. The team plays with more freedom. That's the ripple effect of having a real QB1. And when you combine Gino's skill set with the pieces the Raiders already have, the picture becomes even clearer. He's not walking into a broken team. He's joining a roster with playmakers, a young defense that's getting better, and an offensive scheme that should play to his strengths. Gino has always been a rhythm passer. Get him into a groove with short to intermediate throws, mix in some play action, and he'll carve you up. The key is letting him settle into the game and not putting too much pressure on him early. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy, drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. There's a growing buzz swirling around the NFL world as rumors start circulating about a potential injury to Gino Smith, the Raiders' starting quarterback. Although nothing has been officially confirmed by the team yet, sources close to the Raiders camp have hinted that Smith might have suffered an injury during recent practices or a game. This unexpected development, if true, could send ripples to the Raiders' season plans and the wider league dynamics. Gino Smith, who has been a crucial figure for the Raiders' offense, has shown resilience and steady improvement since joining the team. His leadership on the field and ability to execute plays have earned him respect among teammates and coaches alike. Now, with whispers of a possible injury, fans and analysts alike are left wondering what the impact might be on the team's momentum. The Raiders have been carving out a promising path this season, and losing their starting QB even temporarily could pose a significant challenge. The nature and severity of Smith's injury remain unclear, but speculation ranges from minor strains to something that could potentially sideline him for multiple games. If the injury is serious, the Raiders will need to turn to their backup quarterbacks to fill the void. This scenario could either be a chance for a rising player to step up or a tough period for the team as they adjust to a new offensive rhythm. Adding to the intrigue is the timing of this rumored injury. With the NFL season in full swing, every game counts, and teams rely heavily on the stability and health of their key players. Gino Smith's role in the Raiders' offensive schemes is pivotal, and any disruption there could influence playoff hopes. Coaches will need to strategize quickly, adapting their game plans and possibly leaning more on their defense or running game. While the Raiders have not yet made any formal announcements, the chatter among insiders is fueling speculation. Fans are turning to social media and sports forums, dissecting every bit of information for clues. Some are hopeful this might be a false alarm or a precautionary rest, while others are bracing for a rough patch ahead. If the injury turns out to be genuine, it could also open discussions about the team's depth and preparedness for such setbacks. The NFL is known for its physicality and unpredictability, and teams that can adjust swiftly to injuries often find success. The Raiders' response in the coming days will be critical, both on and off the field. In any case, all eyes remain on Gino Smith and the Raiders as the situation unfolds. Whether this rumor will turn into confirmed news or just a fleeting concern, it has certainly stirred up excitement and worry among fans and commentators. The next few days will likely bring more clarity and possibly drama as the Raiders navigate this uncertain moment in their season. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.